Good afternoon, everyone. It is Evan from the Trade Risk on Wednesday, May 13th. I'm here with a market recap video. We're going to look at the major markets. We're going to look at leading stocks, and then we're going to look at some trade ideas for the rest of the week. So jumping into the action today with the SPY, while we ended flat, I think credit is given to the bears today for putting a halt in some of the upside early momentum. So I think the bears sort of won out today, even though it was a flat day. If we look at the action this week, we came in on Monday pushing down and giving us a small warning sign. High level momentum could be faltering here at the upper end of this range up near 212. We closed on the lows right into the gap, and then yesterday's candle, we of course gapped down. We had a really large range all the way down to 208.60 before reversing higher and closing red on the day, but still better, a recovery from where we were earlier on Tuesday. And I think coming into today, if you're still with me, the bulls in my mind had the ball, and we were looking for that upside follow through. That's what we wanted to see. We got it early in the morning. Everything looked great, and then everything sort of stalled out late in the morning as the bears kept us pretty heavy. So again, nothing technically has changed between today and yesterday. We are stuck dead center. We closed right at 210, 208 on the downside, 212 on the upside. So we're just dead center of this range with really not a lot of edge one way or the other, in my opinion. I still feel that there's mixed signals in both camps. I could make an argument for the bulls. I can make an argument for the bears. I think the bottom line is we just need more time, and I don't think it's worth really overanalyzing a sideways market. I think until we get a breakdown of 208, a break above 212, that's what I'm really waiting for. And there are opportunities. Today, for example, PAYC, we got into this trade last week on this bar here, and we ended up getting out of it today. But this was a quick, 4-day 13% move or thereabouts, while the market didn't do a whole lot. CSLT was another one that we were involved in. We bought this yesterday, right around 808 or 810, I believe, and we started peeling it off today above $9, around $9. So that was a 10-12% move overnight. So there are opportunities, but you need to be selective. You need to pick your spots, and you need to have discipline to get out of the losing positions for small losses. So let's look at some other markets now that I've ranted on a little bit. IWM, it's pretty range bound here. It is more damaged. Look at the difference in positioning between the SPY and where the IWM is. Notice the SPY, we're up here basically in this top half, close to new highs. IWM is in this bottom half here, and it needs to get above this 123.50, 120.50 on the downside. So it's still pretty range bound here. It was basically flat on the day as well. And then if you look at the Qs, similar situation, kind of a hybrid mix between the SPY and the IWM. A little bit more constructive than the IWM. 109 on the upside, that's the breakout level we need to get back above, but it's still kind of contained, chopping around and back and forth, more or less range bound. Let's look at some other markets. TLT, this has been hammered recently, and perhaps this is what's putting a lot of pressure on the U.S. equities, is just the magnitude of this move, so quick, so fast. TLT now is back into some, I would consider it at least major intermediate support, 118. This is an area that you would expect TLT to try and hold, to try and stage a bounce. So it might need more time. I'm not saying, it's certainly not my strategy to try and buy this, but this is a level that you would expect buyers to kind of step in and see if it can hold it. So let's see if we do get that. You'd have to zoom out to a weekly chart to get your next support levels, and you've clearly snapped this rising this trend, going all the way back to the beginning of 2014. So this is certainly this is certainly needs to be proven by the bulls that they can put in a higher low somewhere, that they can stabilize this market. So for now, short-term downtrend still very much in control, but it is at an area now that you would expect a potential bounce. USO, this one's still just grinding along. I don't think much has changed here. We've been talking about this ever since this bottom here mid-March. It's been grinding higher. It still seems to be, is down today, but hasn't changed the picture. It's still riding this 8 EMA all the way up. So, until something changes there, it looks like USO could continue to grind. So look for that there. UNG is starting to shape up again, especially over the past couple of weeks. It was this weekly candle here back on the beginning of May that has kind of turned momentum around in the short term on natural gas. So I think this one is getting interesting. I haven't really got a pure buy signal that I would really act on, but certainly above $14.50 is an important level. Eventually above $15 is an important level. So UNG right now, the momentum is to the upside. Let's see how much it can continue. Gold had a nice lift today, and a lot of these moves today were spirited by the US dollar, which was down, got hit again, broke down through some recent support, and that of course ties in nicely with some of these big moves we saw in the commodities. Gold up almost 2% on the day today. It's now back challenging / slightly above some of this resistance here, right around 116.50. So gold is looking pretty good here. In the near term, it looks like it might have some legs behind this this recent move, especially with this nice gap and go today. Let's see if this can continue. Again, longer term, still a real messy chart, but I think there's some short-term momentum there. Silver, similar camp here. Some upside momentum, up 3.5% today. This one looks good for some further follow-through as well. Let's look at some of the leading names. Apple, very quiet, just hanging out in this range. And, I, for one, am happy to see it. It is going to give us a nice setup, a nice opportunity in the future. So, until it does, there's not too much to say about it. I think the range here is pretty clear. So let's just wait a little bit longer on Apple. Google is, it's pretty range bound as well. This one is stuck in a longer term range. Not too much to say about it. 530 on the downside perhaps. This 542 might not be as interesting now. I need to update some of these lines here in Google, but certainly something down here around these recent lows. 532 is probably an action area, but overall Google just not that interesting to me. Netflix had a breakout on Monday. It's been consolidating 2 inside days now within Monday's candle. Let's see which way it wants to go. 573 was this little breakout level, the immediate highs essentially from their earnings release. Let's see if it can hold this level. Let's see if it can make its way up to the $600 mark. Certainly upside momentum is still on Netflix's side, so I wouldn't want to fight it, but I don't really have a clear good long signal in there either. Amazon closed on the lows today. This would be interesting to see if this was sort of a failed attempt at the highs here, getting all the way up to 439, failing, and now it's starting to roll over again. Maybe it has, a date with Destiny to fill this gap. I'm not too sure, but for now, Amazon just needs a little more time. Close right on the 8 EMA. Let's see if it can stabilize a bit and give us a trade setup in the near future. Facebook had a really nice session today, up over 1%. It's still pretty range bound, pretty trapped here. Fast moving averages are still sort of racing down to catch up with price. So, that's always, it's tough for me to step in and want to buy anything when you have the fast EMAs, racing downwards, sort of giving you the impression that, there's trapped money in here, and this upside fight might be, might be a fight. So I don't necessarily know that I would be into this name anytime around this level, but it is trying to stabilize. That's constructive. I think $81 up here needs to get back above that. That would start to prove to me that the buyers are in control here on multiple time frames. So that's what I'd be waiting for on Facebook, Twitter. Some signs of life as well. It's trying to now at least go sideways here after this this waterfall event after earnings. So Twitter sort of just, I mean, it just needs more time. Nothing that interesting to me there. Tesla had a bit of a pause day. This one's been acting really well ever since earnings. I mean, this bar here was a pretty interesting, potent bar to take notice last Thursday. Ever since then, it's been grinding higher. It got itself a little extended today, came in a little bit, so I wouldn't read too much into it. It's still in short-term healthy uptrend. If you look on a weekly chart, you are seeing now that it's back above this 220 level, you're seeing this breakout in motion. So Tesla, I don't have a clear signal on this yet. This was sort of a little mini buy signal here on this Friday candle, but other than that, I haven't seen too much. So I'm just watching Tesla, but certainly looks decent now on the long side for future setups. Alibaba, this is one I was watching today. I liked it above $88. I had a lot of strength here in the morning session, but unfortunately, it gave it back. Not a signal, not actionable, not strong enough for me to take this. Had it closed on the highs, I probably would have been long this into tomorrow. So I'm watching this. It's on my radar this week now. Let's see if it can muster up some strength here. You don't want to see it fail, basically back below Monday, this week's lows here, right around 86.20. You want to see that level hold, and you want to see this base that it's been in since February, March, act as support and act as a short-term bottom in this name at least. So Alibaba starting to shape up. I like it, but it needs to prove itself a bit more for me to get involved. And GoPro is sort of a similar situation, same type of thing. Earnings popped up, didn't quite have a flat sideways base like Alibaba did, but it was, it does have a base of sorts. And now that you have this little accelerated trend line here that it's trying to hold, actually, almost continuation of this one started in March. So this one, really just needs to get back above $50. Could be interesting as well. So I'll be watching this. I like the formation in Baba a bit more, but GoPro certainly could get some legs above these recent highs for sure. Now let's look at just a couple of names I have on the long side. First is CIB. Not sure I don't have this chart marked up. I thought I did. But this one's staying pretty high and tight. It's found a bottom here in early March. It's had a pretty fast move from the mid 30s to the mid 40s, and now it's hanging pretty tight here. So let's see if it can get back above 46.40 or so. That one could be a new momentum breakout signal for you later this week. Pandora, I got long this one today. I don't have a lot of exposure on, but this one is a name that I did get long today. Above 1850, really it was 1865 or so is the level I was watching. Look at all of these failed kind of topping tails every time it broke above 1865. Even yesterday I was watching this, and then it got faded on the close. So today we had a pretty convincing close. I took some home long. We'll see what happens with it. I won't give it too much room, but we'll see if that one can continue. ITT, this one was up today, got faded off the highs, but this one looks pretty interesting. $42 or so is basically the breakout level that I'd be watching in this name. It's put in a nice little base now ever since mid-February, so keep an eye on this one for the rest of the week. AET is the next one. I've talked about this one a little bit. This one is finding some resistance here above 110 or so. It's struggling just a little bit, was down just slightly on the day, but you can see the topping tails basically from yesterday and today above $110. So might need a little more time, but it's something that you should still have on watch if you are looking at some new breakout setups. And then finally SWHC. This one, I apologize, I had these charts marked up, might be a different template, a different board I was on, but this one above 15.25 or so looks like it could be pretty nice. It had a gap up to start, or actually mid-April, and it's been going sideways. Moving average is caught up, so this one looks pretty healthy. It's not ready just yet, but I'd say above 15.25 or so, this one looks like it could continue. And that's it. That's what I have for setups and signals for the rest of the week. I hope you are doing okay out there, and as always, thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time.